Hello, everyone. It's Matthew, and this is the Master Your Lens podcast. You're listening to the Master Your Lens podcast, episode 149.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, the founder and host of EO Fire, and welcome to the Master Your Lens podcast, the photography podcast dedicated to sharing inspiring stories, technical tips, and powerful secrets to help you become a better photographer. And now, your host, Matthew Jordan Smith.
Hello, Photography Nation. Welcome to the show. Back in the 60s, there was a movie that came out called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Now, yes, that's a great title for a movie, but it's also a great way to think about shadows. Because when it comes to photography, there are good shadows, there are bad shadows, and there are definitely ugly shadows. The difference is being able to see them. Sometimes in photography, we are so focused on the light, we don't see the shadows. Last month, we were talking about seeing light. This month, the focus is on seeing shadows, understanding how powerful those shadows, no matter how subtle they are. Shadows are important. And this month, that's what I want you to concentrate on as you take every single picture, to look at your shadows. Where are they? And do they help your picture or hurt your picture? By now, you guys know I love movies. And so do many of my students. I use movies to teach lessons about light and storytelling all the time. But I also use them to talk about seeing the shadows. For those of you who don't know, I have a private course. Right now, the course is closed for enrollment, but I open it several times a year. And this March, it will open up again for enrollment. I'll keep you posted on that date. I also have private one-on-one students. This one's more intense, where I work one-on-one with students to help take their photography to their next level. I really love working with my one-on-one students because it's a year commitment. We work together for 1 full year, and I really get to see them change right in front of my eyes. One thing that I've discovered, most people cannot see their own work, me included. This is why having a coach is so valuable. We help you to see what's holding you back so you can grow. With one-on-one, there is no cheating. I get to see you take on assignments, turn them in. We go through them one-on-one together. Recently, a lot of my one-on-one students have made huge leaps in their photography. The funny thing is, they can't always see it until I point out where they were and where they are now. With one of my one-on-one students, he has made incredible leaps in his photography and discovered a new way of shooting his images. And they are amazing. He's having an exhibit, but in putting his images together, he wanted to go back and show some of the old work because he couldn't see. I had to point out to him, that's your past. This new work, that's the future. Another old movie that I love is Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Did you see that movie? Well, in the movie, there's a line where a female character says to Tom Cruise, "Can't you see? I love that movie. But I also love that line, can't you see? The truth is, we can't see until we train ourselves to see. If you're only caught up in looking at the light, you can be blind to seeing the shadows. To become a better photographer, you need to see both. To be better at lighting, you need to see the shadows. So how do we do this? You have to practice. So let's start right now, wherever you are. We are all looking at pictures all day long. And today, as you go about your day, I'd like for you to look for the shadows in every picture you see. As you're scrolling through Instagram or any other of your social media feeds, looking at pictures, stop looking at the picture and look deeper at the shadows. The shadows tell you so much information, like which direction the light's coming from, if it's high, if it's low, if it's on camera right or camera left. You want to learn how a picture is done, discover how it's shot, or if that image has been manipulated in Photoshop. Look at the shadows. The shadows tell you everything. Now, as you look through all your pictures that you see throughout your day, once you are back in front of your computer, I'd like for you to open up your programs, whatever you use. On One, the one I use, Capture One, Lightroom, whatever you use, look at all of the pictures you've shot this past month, the month of February 2020. Go through and look at those images and look at the shadows. You may see your images in a new light. You may see your light in a very different way, simply by changing the focus on what you see. The more you become aware of this on a daily basis, the better you will be each and every time you take a picture. You are teaching your eye how to see, and not just see the light, but see deeper into the shadow. Now, as you're doing this, as you're seeing the shadows in reality, notice how different they look when you take the picture. This is one thing every photographer must be aware of, how your shadows look in reality versus how your shadows look in your pictures. Study your shadows. And for those of you who are shooting with artificial light, like strobe light, I really want you to pay attention to your shadows. I love using a light meter because a light meter gives you way more information than you'll ever find by just looking at histograms. Recently, one of my one-on-one students said to me, "Matthew, when I first began working with you and started using a light meter, all I saw was numbers. But now, when I use my light meter, I see light and shadows because I know what these numbers mean now. I know where the light will be. I know where shadows will be, and I can place them exactly where I want." Now that's powerful stuff. And I was so happy to see her make that breakthrough and that connection. Because when you are aware of shadows, you can make them look exactly the way you want them to be, and that's good. If you're not aware, that can be really bad, and it can be really ugly. So today, look at the shadows everywhere you go. Notice the light and notice the shadows. Go through all your images and only look at the shadow. Teach your eyes to become hyper aware of the shadow. If you are shooting in studio and you're using strobe light, even more so, teach your eyes to see how strobe light affects your shadows, how different modifiers creates different shadows. This is extremely important as we start building your eye and teaching you how to see better. You can do this. If you want help, personalized one-on-one help, I now have 2 spaces available. I open up enrollment for one-on-one coaching once a year, and there are currently a few spaces open. If you are interested in training with me for 1 year, one-on-one, do me a favor. Send me an email at info@MatthewJordansmith.com. The one-on-one sessions take place twice a month. We will meet online for a 45-minute session the first 2 weeks of each month. I'll really get to know your work, know your goals, and where you want to be. And we will work together for 1 full year. Now, if you are interested in this one-on-one training to really take your photography to another level, email me right now at info@MatthewJordansmith.com. There are only 2 spaces available. I look forward to hearing from you soon. All right, Photography Nation, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Master Your Lens podcast. Go out there and look for the shadows. Trust me, once you learn to see the shadows, you'll be much better at controlling your light. Until next week, always dream big. Bye for now.